Greetings everyone, my name is Resh Ramasamy. I am a university lecturer, a PhD student, a published author and a developmental educator. Vlog 4 has a dark side to it. Vlog 4 is devoted to unpacking some of those narratives, the unspoken, the unheard narratives that is, surrounding the helping and caring profession. In specific, Vlog 4 will provide you with a deeper understanding into the compromised positionality and the compromised rights of service providers, that is healthcare professionals that provide formal supports to clients and their families within aged care and disability care sector. There appears to be a trend. We all like trends, don't we? But this trend is a problematic one. It is very problematic. Now, you see, the term, the phrase, the concept, the articulation, code of conduct. Professionals have to obey, have to adhere to those rules that have been articulated in the code of conduct within a person's occupation or scope of practice. Professionals have this instilled in them, how we behave, how should we conduct ourselves when we come in close contact with clients and their families. However, there appears to be little to no attention placed on the code of conduct of clients and their families when in contact with service providers. That's correct, you heard me. So more and more clients and families feel or think they have a sense of entitlement and privilege to go out of their way to raise and make complaints against professionals. Respect the need for a complaint process, but not when there is no merit to it. These complaints feature fabrication and falsification by clients and all their families, where they have gone out of their way to fabricate and falsify information to degrade, defame, demean the professional. There are plenty of different reasons why would clients and their families go out of their way to behave in such a despicable fashion, but I have somewhat summed it all up with the term inner demons. People have problems but they have not fully acknowledged or dealt with those problems with the highest integrity. They start to resent people and they start to create chaos, unnecessary chaos, that's right. So, and this is what upsets me the most, because many professionals who provide formal support and informal supports to clients and their families are placed in such a compromised position. Most are beyond traumatized whilst providing support, but we stay true to our profession, we stay true to who we are as a person. I always tend to find myself in compromised positions where I've had clients or family ask me for unreasonable things. And it's like, you want to say yes, but equally you have to also protect yourself. And when you don't say yes, prepare for World War III. As soon as you say no to an unreasonable request or to a request that compromises your very profession and compromises you as a person and a professional, clients and their families feel entitled to go against you and fabricate and falsify bullshit. In my professional life, I've had clients and their families go out of their way to make false complaints, go out of their way to fabricate and falsify information to paint a gruesome picture of me. And there is an investigation. They provide their response, I provide my response. But at the end, the client or the family is not reprimanded for putting me through that painstaking endeavor where I'm almost crumbled. I've lost my sense of self. I'm beyond broken. I'm experiencing disenfranchised grief. But there seems to be no consideration for that. The investigation appears to almost omit that professionals have a heart, that professionals have feelings. So whilst I'm all for complaints, I'm all for a complaint process to be enacted, but with merit, not because the client or family felt angry because the professionals said no to something they were asking for. People with disabilities historically have been seen as unable, have been seen as incapable, have been seen as eternal children, and that also goes for their families as well, where they've had not much respect or recognition. And a person who identifies with multiple, that's correct, multiple minority statuses, I have no time and energy to embrace a victim mentality. Because you know what? People are people, we're all one. Regardless of our disabilities or abilities, we are all human. And there's someone I would like to mention and talk about. And this someone is my dear student, Sue, from Torrens University. Now, I don't think she would mind that I'm sharing her story as she has mentioned it in class. Sue has an intellectual disability and a vision impairment and other health issues. But Sue is what the helping and caring profession needs. Rather than embrace feel sorry for me, a victim mentality, Sue remains strong, sturdy, and solid. Sue is an inspiration to me and many of the students and staff members. The way she approaches life, the way she approaches things in life, it is simply sensational and inspirational. By clients and families embracing a victim mentality and attention-seeking behaviors, they're creating a division, a divide, and a polarization between people with a disability and people without a disability. I'll tell you why. Historically, people with disabilities have been perceived as unable, hopeless, incompetent. Those fallacies and attitudes still prevail, but with further advancements to attitudes, technology, systems like the NDIS, things are slowly but surely changing. However, these very systems as well have further endorsed bad behaviors in clients and families. It has somewhat enabled further stigmatization by able-bodied counterparts because some of those clients and families have a preoccupation of embracing a victim mentality, and therefore it renders everyone in that populist group as problem makers. And people are becoming more and more fearful to work with them. When these professionals are up against allegations that have been fabricated and falsified, and that includes myself, this is not right. We're not here to be treated like dirt, to be treated like we are a piece of string. We are not here to be objectified. Professionals have openly stated they've lost their passion to work in this very sector for all those reasons I've articulated. Because The work of a professional within the helping and caring sector is very, very exhausting, mentally, physically, and emotionally. Because when you care about something or about someone, you give your everything. Now, I know that there are disgraceful professionals out there as well, but I'm talking about the good ones, the good ones who have a heart and go above and beyond in providing a righteous service. Clients and their families are putting on a front, and some of them pretend, depicting that their disability is a lot more severe and profound. This is not right. Therefore, are we encouraging and promoting bad behaviors? Are we allowing people to behave in a despicable and barbaric fashion? Do we need to teach and educate and upskill people to behave with integrity? And these are clients and families I'm talking about. And this is where I feel there is an element of injustice. Clients can do no wrong, professionals can do all wrong. And with a system that is very much about clients' rights, the rights of professionals are not being considered. Clients and families who engage in these types of behaviors, regardless of their disability or abilities, need to be reprimanded, because it's not okay. Wake up, grow up. I feel there needs to be more awareness and education surrounding the rights of professionals and the code of conduct for clients and families in how they need to behave and conduct themselves when interacting with professionals. It is not just one person's responsibility, it is the responsibility of all. It's not a legal obligation just for one entity, but it's for all entities, professionals, clients, and their families. We all need to work in collaboration, not in isolation. There's a special someone in this vlog as well. This special someone is my colleague, my friend, and someone I respect monumentally. Fatima was kind enough to share some of her stories surrounding the trauma. Yes, trauma in the helping and caring profession.
I started freaking out every time I had to go to the client thereafter. So I think this happened in October or November. It would have been like mid-November. And then every time I had to go, I would have a panic attack or an anxiety attack, or I would hope that the client would cancel for some reason, or that I wouldn't have to go into the house because there was some work being done. I don't know. I would try to think of ways to get out of it, but I would still go and face it. I would just hate being at that session. If I had to drive my client, I would be very happy with it, but at the same time, I would be really stressing if the friend was home, because there were very rare occasions when he would not be there and it would just be me and the client, and it would be so smooth, so seamless. But every time the friend was there, a part of me just wanted to scream or run or just get out of there. And again, I didn't tell work that I was struggling because, again, it was a new client, and I wanted to give it time to go, maybe it'll get better, maybe it's just me overthinking it, maybe I'm too sensitive, I don't know. But then it got to the stage where I was being put down for being a woman and not knowing things that apparently women need to know as soon as they come out of the womb. And I think I just couldn't deal with it anymore. But it was at the cost of my own mental health. And then I noticed that I would start having really late nights, or I'd say, man, I need a cocktail, or I need a GNT to deal with this day or whatever, when I really didn't. I just needed to sit down, talk it all out, just kind of almost vomit it all out, and then be like, okay, the shift was horrible, but we are home. It's the end of the day, and you're home now. You got to be with your partner and not let work kind of make its way through. But it did, and it sucked. Would end up getting really irritated at my partner for no reason. He would be like, what's wrong? And I'd be like, I don't want to talk about it. I just had a bad day at work. But I would talk about it eventually, but not before I was very irritated or frustrated or getting annoyed at the stupidest things. Like if I burned my hand with hot water, I would start crying, even though that was not an issue at all. It would just be everything else that was kind of piling up. I was like, I can't take this anymore, and I don't want to put myself through this. And I called work and I let them know, like, I think it would be better if a male social worker went in, because the misogyny and the sexism was just a bit much to handle, and I didn't want another girl or another female worker to go through what I did. Like, even if they're thick-skinned, I don't think they deserve that kind of treatment. So workers in the industry who are older than me call people love, darling, sweetie. And honestly, that really throws me off. I think that's really weird. But also, I've had clients telling me the same thing. Like, they call me sweetie, darling, hun, and you just kind of brush it off because you're like, yep, okay, like, that's probably just your way of, like, being friendly. That's okay. You're older, like, all of that. It's all good. But as long as you don't act on it, like, I don't really understand how much more you can have, like, those concrete professional boundaries unless you're a robot. Like, you're also human, you also have emotions, you know, you're allowed to feel happiness, you're allowed to feel sadness, you're allowed to feel anger, just like any other person, and still maintain that professional boundary. So I think people are a bit fragile about that, but you know. And person-centered, you always go client first, you second.
That's
so you
cool.
go, no, if you feel like shit, well, tough luck, because it's not about you, it's about the client. But
Absolutely.
then you kind of hit a point where you go, but it is also about you, you know, and you need to give yourself some credit too. And I feel like a lot of people just don't. In this industry, it's all about the client, which I agree with, but you also have to look after yourself in order to look after your client.
I hope you've enjoyed the vlog, but more importantly, I hope you've learned something about the lives of professionals. We hear so much about clients and their families, but I think it's also important that enough attention and light is given to professionals, to give them a platform to share some of their stories that are quite distressing, with the hope that these stories will further inform policy and practice and further endorse, promote and augment the rights of professionals, of good professionals within this sensitive industry. The helping and caring profession is a sensitive one. A sensitive industry that requires sensitive people. That includes clients, families, and professionals, not parasites. Parasites that infiltrate and cause turbulence and chaos in people's lives. Onwards and upwards. Love you all, Rish.